This is my Canadian mini review of the Casio watches. I have two here that I bought very recently. And the reason I bought them was because even though I had an Apple Watch, they are of dubious value while swimming. And I had an Apple Watch SE2 that actually failed while just on a regular swimming. So I decided to upscale a little bit. Now, this is the Casio W217, which is a natural successor to the Casio F91. And then the next size up from that is the Casio W800H. Both of these are highly rated watches. The one that I did not show is the F91, which is a slightly smaller, more compact and slightly cheaper, as well as the AE1200 or the Casio Royale. Now, I bought the Casio Royale because in Canada, the list prices are $39.99 for the Casio Royale AE1200, $39.99 for the W800, and then you get a little jump down to $29.99 for the F91. So there's no real value proposition for going smaller in Canada. Finally, the W217 is also priced at $29.99 Canadian, and this is off Amazon. Now, Amazon has dynamic pricing, so ironically, there was a recent sale where the AE1200, W800 were both around $27, and then the W217 was around $24. So these are essentially same price watches, but let's start with this one first. Now, I chose the gold one because one, it was a little bit cheaper on sale, and two, I found that the color really exceeded my expectations. First off, the features of this one, they have the 50-meter water resistance, which is enough for pool swimming. It's got the resin band. It's a little bit bulkier than the traditional F91 with a weight of about 32 grams. It's got a size about 43 by 41 and a thickness of 10.5 millimeters. So it's a little bit chunkier than F91. For my 6.5-inch wrist, it seems to fit fairly well. And I will say the wrist strap seems to be long enough for me. I don't love that it's a plastic clasp, but the lighting is very uniform and very effective. It's got the standard time with easy read, slightly larger digital dial. It's got the alarm. It can also have an hourly chime. It's got a stopwatch, and it's got the date set. So it's pretty straightforward. For date set, it does know the year, so it will automatically cycle through the dates for you. So that's an interesting concept, even though if you don't see it there. Let me show you. There is no date, though, no year, so you have to manually set the days of the week and it'll count from there. Now, one of the things I love about this is that it is actually discreet enough that I'm wearing this in an office environment. I actually like the gold color because it brings a little bit more attention to the watch. And because it's such a humble watch, Casios are such humble watches anyways, you're not really standing out too much. Even if you draw attention to it, it doesn't really scream flamboyant or unreasonable when you're wearing this watch in my environment. Also, I like that it is waterproof, so I can easily take it off, rinse it, and wash it. The resin band does not breathe that well, I agree, but I tend to wear my bands a little bit loose anyways. That's a habit I got into from childhood. One thing to be careful of is that other than the black resin, all these colored watches, green, gold, silver, even the metal-plated ones, they're actually paint or plating on top of a plastic inner. So this is prone to scratches, and once it scratches, you will see underneath it a little bit. Having said that, at $23.99 or $24 plus tax, even if I do get some scratches over the years, I have no problems replacing it. Finally is that you can see that the screen itself has a little bit of gold tinge to it. Also, the lettering is nice and bright and crisp on this one now. I love this for office use. I think it's got the 50 millimeter water resistance that I want. But I offered my son this watch, and I think that for him, it'd be better to have the W800. Now, the MSRP on this is $39.99, but I got on sale for essentially the same price at $27.99 recently from Amazon. And you can watch out for sales on this device. One of the interesting things with this device is that it has a lot more features. It's got dual time. It's got stopwatch. It's got alarm. And I have modded this. You can see other videos about how to mod. You have to remove a solder jumper inside. But you can add a countdown timer to this as well. Nice big lettering, not quite as large as the W217, but easy to read, especially if you're using it in the water. And then a couple other things. These are buttons, actually, so not just pushers. These are solid buttons. They have a little bit more resistance. I think that's how they get the 100 meter water resistance on this. And unfortunately, for the lighting is wonderful. I do say that unfortunately, both of these watches, the plastic resin crystal, that's the screen, is a little bit raised, so you can feel it. So it will be prone to scratching and abuse over time. Having said that, the plastic does allow you to buff it out any minor scratches anyways. And again, at this price, if you can get a couple of years of rough usage of it, it's fine. To be fair, the Casios I had back in the 80s looked with this classic coloration. And even with being a child at the time and not looking after the watches, it did not get severely scratched and lasted quite some time. In terms of actual physical specs, this is a bigger watch. This is 37 grams versus the 32, so essentially the same on weight. The width is about the same at 44.2 versus 43. And then it is actually a little bit thicker at 13.4 thickness versus a 10.5 thickness. The one thing that is a little bit, you can see if you overlay it, they're very similar watches. But what it is here is strap to strap, but I think they call it lug to lug. It's a little bit narrower at 36.8 on this one versus 41.2 on this one. So ironically, this one looks like it's a little bit shorter lug to lug. Again, I'm not sure of the specs. It's not that important. They both wear very similarly. Let me put on my wrist for you to see. Again, slightly different styling on the strap. Also fairly long, fits very well. And I'm gonna put my other one on for comparison. Now, this camera phone will have some perspective changes. So I apologize if it looks a little bit distorted, but you'll get a rough idea of how they look wrist to wrist for you. You can see that I like this classic blue, red, and black coloration on the face. The lettering is a bit smaller, but maybe a little bit clearer on this one because of the higher contrast background to foreground. This one has a slightly yellow tint to it. If you look at this one, it's got the orange illuminator light. This one has a green, illuminator light just from one corner. And you can program this light to either show for different time lengths, I believe. But again, not that important to me. This one does now have the year, this one doesn't, so I was wrong before. So I can automatically keep track of the dates, and it's got a dual time mode, so you can, if you're away, if you want to use this as a travel watch, it's pretty good. The buttons are a little bit stiffer to press, and again, I think that gives it the greater water protection or resistance. But I would have no hesitations on taking a watch like this swimming. Slightly different styling there, a little bit longer on this one. Again, this is about a 45.5 inch wrist, and both are fairly compact. And I really quite like the both of them. I think for the office environment, the slightly metallic color works very well. I think that the resin case, you don't really have a problem with it. I mean, Casio's, you're not wearing the Casio to broadcast a high-end device that you're wearing. You're quite possibly a techie or very practical or have some nostalgia value for a good value device. For this price range, you're going to get something that can last many, many years and have, both of these have batteries that are rated for 7 to 10 years respectively. So they're going to last a ton of time before you need to change the battery, barring any unusual usage. You can see there's an illuminator stenciling on that one, whereas the illuminator is put here. So my thoughts are, if you like the bigger World Time Casio Royale, if you can get on sale for the same price as this one, the MSRP on both of them are $39.99 in Canada. And I think the Casio Royale, when I had it, was a beautiful watch. It was just a bigger square and chunkier than I needed. Also, I didn't like that it had the little picture of the globe there for time zones, because it's just wasted space. Everything was a little bit smaller, so less functional, more gadgety. It also had a little analog kind of like secondary timer type of thing. For this one, you do lose a little bit of space with these 3 indicator sections for alarm and snooze, I believe it is, stuff like that. But again, the small corner loss here, I'd be okay with extra functioning on this. Finally, is that I did like that you could modify it to have the timers. You can modify it to have up to 5 alarms. Not strictly necessary in my opinion, because this is a basic watch. Going back to it, my daily currently will be this W217. I love that it's simple, I love that it's washable, and I actually like the color contrast, bringing attention that I am wearing a Casio. Like I said, I like that nostalgia factor and that geek factor, and that I loved having back in the day. Even though I have other name brand dress watches, I like wearing this on a daily basis, just for its practicality, functions, and ease of visibility. Finally, other thoughts I have on this. I did try to mod the watch on the W800 to add the countdown timer, and I successfully did that. As you see here, it shows this is a countdown timer. Now, I made the mistake on my first watch, which I did this to, and I did not realize this. I actually started a Reddit thread on this. This is a damaged watch. And what I did was I unscrewed it, did the mod, and when I screwed it back in, I happened to have some Loctite, blue Loctite, which is used to seal metal screws to prevent it from accidentally backing out. Well, after I put the Loctite in, about 30 minutes later, while I was wearing the watch, the lugs fell apart. I don't know if you can see that. It actually broke apart. And I thought it was just a manufacturing error. I ordered another replacement watch, and that was the end of that. But when I disassembled it and did some more research, I found that Loctite can actually damage plastic. Blue Loctite, especially some plastics, and I presume this resin is not capable of, it will actually be broken down and made brittle by the Loctite. So unfortunately, this watch can no longer be worn as a watch because the lugs are damaged from where I put Loctite in the screw holes. It can still be used for its salvageability, the screen, the device. Maybe I'll make it into a magnet. But as a wristwatch, unfortunately, putting even a tiny little bit of Loctite, you can see this is starting to crack here. And then this one is also starting to crack, and this one is already broken down. So I'm afraid that there was some chemical damage to this particular model. That was my only thoughts on that. I think that if you are looking for a watch that you can use in water and swim with it and not worry, if you're looking for lots of features, these are wonderful little watches to have. I think that the price range, I would say that if you're buying it off Amazon, wait for a sale. Unfortunately, here in Canada, Casio either is sold directly from their website or mainly from Amazon. It used to be in Walmart, but they aren't selling those anymore. Walmart locally has gone to their own George's brand. And yeah, I think that for the price of them, they are amazing value deal. I think that they're good nostalgia pieces and they will last you a good long time with good durability and lots of functions. Thank you very much, and I hope that you found this review useful. Thank you.